Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, another episode here of Fast Break for IE Sports Radio. I want to talk to y'all about the last 8 years of the company. For the last 8 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content, ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we're being continued by the fans, for the fans, and with your help, we're ready to take that next step. When you go to our website, isportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers. The first one is starting at $5 a month. This donation gives you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on our segment, our flagship show, to Define the Moment. Thank you all very much for continuing to make IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all sports. I want to shout out to our 4 Patreon members, Bay Area Rays, Marcus, Los, Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. Thank you for everyone, including our Patreon supporters, for making our 8th anniversary special. And here's many more years to come. Now on to the show. On tonight's show, I'm riding solo tonight. D-Lock has a night off. New episode, new year, new broadcast, same us. Tonight I discuss Louisville losing to Kentucky and what that means for the program going forward. What can they do to bounce back, or if they can bounce back. But I think they can. Next, the Brooklyn Nets winning 11 straight. Things are going well with them. Things are put behind them. Can it be a real threat to the NBA title? I'll discuss that. Plus, I'll go over the news and scores around the league in all worlds of basketball. But thank y'all for tuning in to Fast Break here live on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed that is all sports. And you're welcome to join us. I say us, but I run solo tonight, so this kind of creature of habit right there. But if y'all hear a little background noise, I had some unexpected guests, so I apologize for that. But I think everybody has cleared out, so we're gonna get up and rolling right now. But I am solo tonight. D-Lock has a night off. You know, it feels good to be back. We took the week off for Christmas. You know, it's like one of those years, you know, Christmas falls on Sunday, and, you know, when Christmas falls on Sunday, it one of those days that, you know, everybody feels more festive, if that makes sense. You know, people going to church, all that stuff, everybody feel more holy in a sense. So, you know, we took that week off, but, you know, we kept on the tweets and stuff. Basketball, you know, Sunday was great. You know, granted, you know, you had the NFL as well, but it was great to have basketball in there as well. Only thing I kind of hated on Christmas Day, you had the college schools playing. Some of the college schools playing on Christmas Day, which I did not like at all. Like, I know these kids are a different level in college sports, but I mean, Christmas is Christmas. You know, Christmas is Christmas, and let the college students be off on Christmas. That's all I got to say on that. But let's get up and rolling right now. I've been wanting to talk about this school, this team. I want to shout out to the chat real quick. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez. Shout out to Adam Karnick. I know you Bears lost again, but I think for me, for the Bears, real quick, I think hopefully it's for the greater good for the Bears if they stay in the top two picks. And I'm just saying this early, Adam. The Bears should not be looking to draft a defensive guy. If you're gonna keep Justin Fields, build around Justin Fields. That's all I gotta say about that. Shout out to Arthur Parsons in the chat. How you doing, sir? I know your pals are doing great right now, soaring right now. Terry Rodriguez. Let's see. Terry saying, who has athletic events on Christmas Day? Isn't it illegal for religious purposes? I would think so. I would think so. You know, because Creighton of all schools, and Creighton's a private school. My days living up in Omaha, you know, and they're a private school, all that stuff. I saw them playing the Christmas, like, dang, what's going on here? So I was like, okay. I guess if they're cool with that and things are kind of changing up in Omaha, and I guess that's fine. I just hate it for the kids that, they got to play on Christmas like that. They don't get time spending with family, all that stuff. And I do agree with you, Taryn. Professional sports, that's a different animal. By that time you're going to dope, you're not subjected to, school, all that stuff. So yeah, I do agree with you there. Like professional sports, different breed. But school and stuff like that, nah, man. Let the kids have the holidays off. Uh, but yes, let me get to it. Oh yeah, the Bulls ain't Adam. Yeah, the Bulls ain't no better. I mean, they've been playing pretty somewhat better here lately, but the whole Alan Levine situation is not. Not Alan Levine, not Adam. Zach Levine, excuse me. Situation is not really good, and I don't know where they're gonna go with that situation. Thing is, and this is kind of I'll hesitate giving him that max deal. Is like that dude's not like a max player to build around. And I think the NBA has been real bad for a very long time, giving mid tier talent max money just because they have a name. If we're being real about it, there's only like a handful of players to deserve real max money. Giannis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James. Uh, I know some of y'all probably say, Luke, what about Luka and Trey Young? They're not there yet for me. They gotta show me a little bit more. They're fine players. They do great. Luka's been playing great, you know, but I gotta see a little bit more. Also Jason Tatum. I put Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the same boat because you can interchange both of those guys. Um, I was somewhat throw Jimmy Butler in there because everything he has been involved in, that he has elevated their play and presence in my eyes. You know, some of y'all probably say, "What about Devin Booker?" Well, he's a fine player, but Chris Paul, and when Chris Paul got there, he elevated that team. him and Monty Williams kind of really elevated that team. If we're gonna be real about that. So that's how I stand looking at Max contracts and stuff like that. But I'll get the NBA talk here in a little bit. And yeah, back to Adam. Well, I'm going to tackle this now. Zach and DeMar don't seem to get along well now that Zach got that money. I mean, I don't know why these dudes pocket watch like that. You know, I I mean I understand DeMar. I see DeMar's point of view that I'm the guy that kind of helped y'all. I was playing the MVP level last year for mostly the first half of it. I carried this team when you were out and stuff like that. You know, all that good stuff. But as we always say in the show, if these teams are silly enough to offer you this type of money, who to say for us to say no? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Zach Levine got all this money. I mean, who deny that? It's hard to deny. Look at Bradley Beal in Washington. Washington is still in the same place. Bradley Beal don't do nothing. I be on this tangent all the time about Washington keeping Bradley Beal. Like, why you put so much money in a player that really hasn't done nothing for your franchise? He's been in all those years. He hasn't done nothing for your franchise. You always been bottom in the standings with the guy. Move on, reset, and rebuild. And on that, keeping a guy like that around, you really, really can't bottom out to get at least top 3 draft pick. You always picking like 9th through 14th, you know? And you can say, Adam, at least the Bulls at times bottom out and got some high level picks. Now they have kind of swung a miss on those picks, but you can say, hey, we at least we tried to bottom out. So I can see I can see DeMar's side, but and thing is, NBA is a business, and the Bulls' fault. Zach Levine is worth that money. You can't fault him not you know taking that. I mean, not taking that money. I know he's getting taxed at all hell in Illinois. Jesus Christ, I looked that up not too long ago. It's like, damn, Illinois taxes are high as hell. Like, good lord. I was like, good. I'm glad I live in the South, in Alabama, where they don't get smart on things. So, yeah, they all Orlando that first round pick for the Wendell Carter trade. This draft coming up is one of those drafts that you can get a very good player. I mean, we'll dive more into that down the line, but it's like kind of one of those years that you kind of wish you had your first round pick. A lot of guys, I bragged about one guy on the show and on Twitter. Granted, yes, I'm an Alabama homer, but Brandon Miller would be a very, very, very good guy to have for the Bulls. Long 6'9" player that can shoot the lights out. I mean, bottoms. If y'all ain't watched Brandon Miller for Alabama play, he can shoot the lights out. Perfect setting for this NBA ball right now. Only thing I kind of wish he works on right now is his half court game. If he can get that figured out, kind of like have a half court game like DeMar DeRozan, for example, or like a Carmelo Anthony. In that sense, oh God, just watch out for him. And maturity and growth. Yeah, off the par. Yeah, he's a shooter. Yeah, he's a straight shooter. Like that loss against Gonzaga is just like even with them losing, he was just getting buckets, just swishing, hitting net, nothing just bottom. And how many wing players we have seen the past few years. We talked about, especially like, hey, Patrick Williams, perfect person to bring that up. Patrick Williams, well, if you get a jump shot, he'd be a solid 3-team player. We're still kind of waiting for that. Miller, he already got that shooting down. Defense, pretty solid. Playing for Nate Oates, you're gonna have to play defense. So I know people talk about the French kid Victor, Scoot Henderson, a couple of guys I'm drawing blanks on right now. But if those other guys go ahead, Brandon Miller, that's kind of like a draft pick you want back, and now that goes to Orlando. And Orlando, if you draft like a Paolo, you got Paolo, you draft like a Brandon Miller, guy can shoot, Franz Wagner, then that front court is kind of damn deadly right there, and the Bulls gonna miss out on that for training for Vooch, who may not be on the squad next year. But let me get to Louisville. Louisville played Kentucky yesterday. I put a poll up on our Twitter page at Fastbreaker IESR. Can Louisville win this game against Kentucky? I put hell no for one of the choices, or yes. The folks that voted all said hell no. And lo and behold, surprise, Louisville lose by double digits. And in the subject of Louisville, we talked about, we put this on a poll, I think, last year. Which would be a better job? Louisville or Maryland? You're talking about two basketball schools. Two basketball schools, but, it's how they brought up, in a sense. For Maryland, for example, that DMV area is, you can find ballers there. I'm not talking about like, they're top of the class or whatnot, but you can feel a good team from that area. Like, you're not hurting for talent. Yeah, you may, excuse me. Yeah, you may have to go up to, New York, maybe Philly, to get a couple guys, Jersey, or maybe, trickle down to the South a little bit, to the Carolinas maybe, to maybe grab some guys. But most of the most part, you can find guys at home, especially on the East Coast board. Louisville, you can consider it a blue blood job. Some folks may, some folks don't. I consider it a blue blood job because how it is and how people perceive it to be. The state of Kentucky, people love their hoops. You're not too far from the state of Indiana in Louisville, and we know how Indiana treats basketball in general. So they love their basketball as well. And plus, they're not too far from the University of Kentucky, so you got that rivalry right down the interstate. But, with Louisville, it's just like this past run of years and stuff like that, it just hasn't been very, very good for them. The losses they've taken, they're 2-11 right now. They got beat by a drum. Let me see. We go back. Back in December. Beat by Lipscomb. Beat by NC State. Barely beat FAMU by 6 points. They won by 11 against West Kentucky. That's like the only two wins. Got beat by a drum by Florida State back last month. You talking about another team that's kind of struggling right now. Florida State got beat by a drum by Miami. Going back to the beginning of the year, you lose against Bella Marine. I don't know where that's at. We lose by one by them. Lose by one against Wright State. Lose by one by Appalachian State. Now, you got those three losses there. Could be a different story for them, but a loss is a loss. And the schools I name out there, some of y'all will say, well, that's an upset. And yeah, in a sense, it is. But in terms of men's college sports, not women's, but men's, I don't know how many of y'all will agree with this, but the past 10 years at least, with transfers and stuff like that, better caliber players that have been coming through the ranks of high school, AU, whatever, JUCO, the gap of, you know, top tier talent being in one place has really kind of just has disappeared. Let's be real about that. It has disappeared. It's not like, when Cal got there, he's snatching up all these guys, stuff like that, and he can make good runs, stuff like that. It's not like that no more. You know, it would be very hard for Cal to get like a high caliber class like that again. Nowadays, those guys are all going to all different places. You know, they'll go they'll go to Indiana. Well, it was the Blue Blood, but we'll say they'll go to Cincinnati. They'll go to Memphis. They'll go to Auburn, Alabama. They'll go to a Mississippi State. They'll go to a Texas Tech, Creighton. But y'all get my point. And for the past few years here, Louisville just kind of been just wetting the bed. They really have. And can Louisville bounce back? It's hard to say. A lot of y'all remember Dewan Wagner, former player. He played for what school? He played for. Played for Memphis in college. Got drafted by the Cavaliers. Had to retire from basketball due to a disease. Well, he has a son. Let's see. I'm pulling that son's name. Excuse me. I had it in a sec. I had it, but it went away from me. Yeah, yeah, Adam. Yeah, Eastern Illinois, beating Iowa, and Iowa's been strong for the past couple of years here. And you know, is that really a crazy upset? To be honest, I mean, anybody can get got in basketball. Hell, this the every day high school ball out here in Alabama. The local high school team here had like a little showcase, a border war showcase, like fools from schools from Alabama, Tennessee, 3-day thing, all that stuff. The last day, the host school, the school, the town I live in, played school in Tennessee, Tullahoma. They're about three. I looked at their record. They were like 3-8 and something like that. The team here, Athens High School, you know, have bounced back well this year. Only had about a couple losses so far this year, about 11-2. Let's go with that. The Tennessee team, the Tullahoma team, you know, They got down a little bit. They got back and went back to 11, went up by 11. But, Athens school bounced back and played strong, all that stuff. And, you know, would have been an upset if Tullahoma would have won. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But, Athens, you know, stayed true to itself, fought through it. Hey, they won the game. So, I mean, I know it's high school, but, Tullahoma won. Would have been an upset? Maybe, maybe not. A lot of people didn't expect Athens to be where they're at right now. I didn't before the season, but hey, great for me, great for the city and stuff like that. But for Eastern Illinois, I know they're 30-point underdog, but hey, in college basketball, if you get good runs, play good defense, have great shot selection, stuff like that, you can take a team by surprise. And that's what happened with Eastern Illinois and Iowa. But back to Louisville, Kentucky discussion. DJ Wagner, his son, the Juan Wagner's son, and for some of y'all don't know, Kentucky had hired DeJuan Wagner as a coach or a consultant, whatever. And on the side of town, so to speak, Louisville had hired DJ Wagner's grandfather as the assistant coach. So you had Louisville on one side had the granddad, Kentucky on the other side had the father. And it was like we would see, where DJ would go. And lo and behold, down the line, not too long ago, DJ committed to Kentucky. Very big gift for Cal because he's been drawing blanks here for a little bit. So he needed this win. But Louisville, even hiring the granddad, trying to get, the grandson to come. It didn't happen. Kentucky got smart, brought DeJuan in, and the son's going to go with the father. So you had that loss before this game commenced this past Saturday. They lost out on the recruiting battle for DJ Wagner, top kid ranked in this class. For the times I watched Louisville, you can see the effort's not there at times. You wish they could. I mean, the fan base, wish they, play harder. But it's going to be a long rebuild, and I don't know if the coach. I'm trying to pull out his name right now. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I don't know if Kenny Payne could, may stick around. Now, that's one thing you kind of need. But I think one thing is kind of missing sports in a sense is patience. And with Louisville, my thinking is a blue blood job. I'm thinking that if he don't kind of pull things around, they might let him go. Yeah, I think I consider Louisville a very good job in my eyes. But Kentucky, you know, doing what they do. They always want to do what they gotta do. And I think it's kind of hurt Louisville the past couple of years besides, the Patino thing, and then the coaching carousel they've been having the past few years. Other programs have been up on the rise. Chris Beard and at his time Texas Tech built up a very solid program in Texas Tech that has kind of really elevate, their their brand a little bit. Now, granted, Chris Beard ain't there no more, but at Texas, and well, he's not there at Texas at the moment because he's suspended for domestic violence. But you get my point. He raised the mid-tier program to national prominence. Bruce Pearl at Auburn has brought Auburn into like very good basketball prominence. Nate Oates at Alabama has brought Alabama into very good prominence in the basketball world. Who else I'm thinking? Um, Mike Woodson in Bloomington has done a good job building things back up in Indiana. But you kind of see where I'm going, you know, in that thinking. Is that, yeah, besides the coaching turmoil and stuff like that, other programs that's kind of come up and it's kind of lapped Louisville. And I don't know if they could really bounce back from that part. If you can't bounce back from that part, then you can be lost in the sauce. Because let's be real about this. In college sports, I'm going to see if y'all agree with this in the chat. In college sports, there are a handful of jobs that the people working there, the alumni base, if things ain't going right, they'll change ship in a heartbeat. I live in Alabama. If things don't go right with Nick Saban or something like that, they'll get that man out the paint. Now, some of y'all probably hear that and be surprised. Well, Nick Saban did all this. He got the #1 recruiting class and stuff like that. If things don't go right, like Alabama expectations in football, they'll ask Nick to step down. Damn all the national championships. We got a standing here. By God, we can be last in education, infrastructure, prison, reform, all that stuff. But damn it, we're going to be good at something. And damn it, we're going to be good at football. And if things don't go right with Saban, that ask that man retire. North Carolina basketball. Herbert Davis, if he don't turn things around here soon, hey man, they gonna pull him to the sides. Hey man, you gotta get things shaped up or you gone. Duke, we'll see with John Shire and see how he gets that rolling. Who else? UCLA. Well, with UCLA, I thought about this earlier. I mean, they do take it serious, but they kind of more lax compared to some of the schools I just named. If you being real about that, like Indiana basketball, if things don't go right, they get you out the paint. Kentucky, same thing. Louisville, same thing. Um, who was I thinking of blue blood school? Michigan State. I think Tom Izzo made that blue blood school. We'll see what happens with him after he retires. But he's made that job a blue blood school. UConn, I put that on a level below blue blood, just because Jim Calhoun did a great job there for all those years. Kevin Ollie had the tools, but he just pissed it away. And the program's up back and running. One of the top teams in the nation by Hurley. So they're back in the upswing. But those schools I just named out, Texas football, oh yeah. Michigan, Ohio State. Hell, we saw the conversations before the playoff game about Ryan Day, if he's going to be long for the job and all that stuff. Stuff like that. So certain schools will get you out the paint if you ain't doing well. And for, Kenny Payne for his first head coaching job at 54 or 55, dog, you may be one and done. And me and D-Lock had talked about off the air about black head coaches and stuff like that at times. And, if I've listened to the show, D-Lock, he's a big Buccaneers fan. And we talked on off air on the show sometimes about the Bucks. He said, "Hey man, I know we I know we trying to stick to the bros sometimes like that, but man, Todd Bowles, he ain't it, man." you know? And it's cool to say that. I was a big believer in A.V. Johnson. Yeah, I think he kind of could have had that job. I won't say for life, but he could have had a good run for it at Alabama. But it just didn't work out. I was like, damn dog, you can't be losing to Nickel State in the first round of NFT, man. It can't go well like that. So, can Louisville bounce back? It's a tough say. To be honest with you, it's a tough say. I'm trying to pull up something. Ouch. I'm trying to pull up a record for the past few years. Come on now. Give me just a second. Like, look at the past few years. Patino's last year, 25-9. Got to the second round. Patino gone. David Paget, just there for that 1 year. NIT final, gone. Chris Mack had a good 2 strong first years. The 2020 season, you didn't have a tournament. But after that, gone. He was fired mid-season. And now you got, Kenny Payne. And the way things are heading, especially the ACC, with so many teams kind of down right now, like North Carolina, Florida State, and a couple others. If you can't build off momentum after that, then dog, you ain't be for the job. You know what I'm saying? Go to the chat real quick. Arthur's saying, he's surprised LSU beat Arkansas. Yeah, LSU. They, I, they really, 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 really have turned things around quicker than I expected. I did not foresee that happening in my eyes. I mean, I'll be real about that. I thought, Will Wade gone, and he's a decent coach, but it's just like he didn't sustain the base for the program. And when he left, everything kind of crumbled in a sense. You can basically kind of start over in a sense. It's kind of like having like a real fresh reset. It's kind of like if you're like creating a school or something like that, and you kind of build things slow. Slate is swipe clean in a sense, and I'm trying to, and what's his name, Mac McMahon, coming for God, what's that school's name? McNeese State. Brought some of his guys with him. Recruited well, and got these guys bought in. And for them to kind of go toe to toe with Arkansas like that, hey man, I gotta give kudos to them. You gotta get that respect to them. And I think a team, you know, I wouldn't say expect to be down in the bottom, but another team, come SEC tournament time that you don't want really don't play. Like I didn't expect LSU to be where it's at right now. If we're gonna be real about that, I didn't expect, and also hell, with Coach White going to Georgia, I didn't expect Georgia to be 10-3, but look at them right now. He's a dogfight right now, and everybody got a very good, solid coach. As we will see, this month and next month how things going to shake out. Leading up to the SEC tournament. And can LSU, can LSU stay up top? Time will tell. They got Kentucky. Damn, I just had it up. They got Kentucky on Tuesday at Lexington. Kentucky, they ain't strong, and LSU they got some dog in them. I think Louisville can. I mean, not Louisville. LSU can take them. I hope Kentucky don't come in sleepwalking to that game, but I think LSU can get them. It's gonna be battle in that game, and Kentucky can't depend on they could what's that dude's name? Oscar Tshwibi. If I butcher, I'm sorry. To do everything down low, he's gonna have some help, and they get him early foul trouble and stuff like that. That's chopped liver for Kentucky. Chopped liver for Kentucky. So yeah, man, yeah, I didn't expect LSU to be like this year. I'll be real about that. Um, but before I get out of here, I do want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, and I appreciate y'all healthy comments in the session tonight. I love the back and forth tonight. But the Brooklyn Nets, real quick, been a hot streak right now. We, as y'all know in the show, it's like the Brooklyn Nets get talk more about the off the court stuff than on the court stuff. And when we talk about the on the court stuff, it's like, damn, this thing got really got a lot of potential. It's like one thing and another. Like KD's out, or Kyrie's out with injury, or Kyrie's out for other reasons, stuff like that. And then you look up, this role player's out, this role player's out. They're not using like they bench more. The rotations are kind of weird. You know, all that good stuff. They beat the Hornets, which ain't really saying a lot, but they beat the Hornets. Durant had 23, Kyrie had 28. One thing I wish that they do more. I mean, they were doing it, but they kind of got away with it since Steph Curry has been back, and T.J. Warren kind of got his legs under him. Play Cam Thomas a little bit more. Get him more in the fold. Get him in the fold. Play him more. See who you got in the future for him. Him and Sharp. The two guys that you really kind of get investments on, see what you got for the team for the future. But other than that, Kyrie and KD playing the way they are is greatly helping this team. I think the one hiccup with this team is Ben Simmons. And that's why I kind of go back to the Cam Thomas thing. It's like, if you got somebody else in the fold, either him or maybe TJ Warren got his legs under him, they can take up that scoring that Ben Simmons ain't really doing for your squad. Yeah, defense is fine, all that jazz. But if Ben Simmons is only playing damn 19 minutes against the freaking Hornets, and your stat line is 3-2-2-2, that's not a very good look. But the Nets, hey, Coach Vaughn, I was kind of weary of him. He didn't do the best big up job in Orlando, but he's got these guys rolling. You know, he just took the job and run with it. You know, talking about a guy that almost didn't have the job. They were trying to hire Ime Yukata, and you know, the league kind of scoffed at that, but Jock Vaughn took the job and has really done great things with it. So, shout out to them, for the Nets. And you look at this Nets team right now that has gone 11 straight, has but kind of like a half game ahead of Milwaukee in the standings. And now you talk about them maybe challenging potentially for the top spot in the East. Now we're kind of seeing the Nets team that we kind of been waiting to see for a little while for the past few years. And you got Kyrie healthy. You got all the nonsense about the movie, Amazon link, all that stuff. You got that behind them. KD and his comments and stuff like that going back and forth with folks, and that's behind them. I think everything's behind it. Steve Nash deal, all that stuff. I think it's just everything is kind of behind them, and they can focus on ball. And when you can focus on ball, this is where you can. This is where things can lead. Like Chicago, you ain't focused on ball. You're trying to sit and appease one guy, all that stuff, and other injuries going on. Things don't go right for you. Situations down Atlanta with Trey Young, Nate McMillan, he may consider retiring after this year. If you ain't focused on ball, your team suffers. Even with Boston, even with all that stuff going, Ime Yukata, the infrastructure there to focus on ball has still kept them atop of the East and the best record in the NBA. Only teams getting close to that record are Denver and New Orleans. I mean, Denver and Brooklyn right now, and New Orleans as well. Pelicans, when you focus on ball, with Zion, the weight issues, the foot injuries, all that stuff behind you now. And you got to get everybody else back to health too, like Brandon Ingram, all that stuff too. Once you get everything back and focus on ball, look where they at right now. When you focus on ball, everything goes great. Wherever BS is going on, like Brooklyn's been dealing with the past couple years with James Harden, Kyrie, all that nonsense, you lose focus. But when you focus on ball, this is what it looks like. With Golden State Warriors, the Draymond thing during training camp did not help things in the beginning of the year. And look where they're at right now. They're not focused on ball. Steph Curry's going to be out for a little while. Jordan Poole at times look okay in the season. Other times he's been a ghost on the stat sheet. Klay Thompson's in and out of the lineup. They don't know what to do with James Wiseman and the other rookies, to be honest with you. If you're not focused on the right things, you be stuck at certain positions. Yes, I know certain situations you got to think and build and stuff like that. It'll take time to build up. I get that. Like look at OKC. They're gonna take a long time to build up. Chet Holmgren going out for the year, going to put another year on that rebuild. But if you ain't focused on ball, if you ain't worried about other outside stuff, if you ain't drawing attention to your franchise, things go awry. Only like a few handful of teams can get away with that. The Bulls in the 90s, the Phil Jackson, Shaq, Kobe Lakers. Kind of find out years later the San Antonio Spurs in the 2000s, some of the drama they had. 80s Lakers, 80s Celtics. Y'all get my point. But, but I'll go back to the high school, to the Athens High School, before I get off here. My cousin, he was a senior last year at that high school. Now, the coach I got now was, new coach there last season. Before that, they had another coach they brought in from Hoover, Alabama. Very successful coach. I have over a 400 win record, all that good stuff. He left after 1 year because stuff, small town Alabama, stuff going on, stealing money. The superintendent's stealing money, all that stuff. Small town crooks, all that stuff, stealing millions of dollars, all that good stuff. But him and his senior class, and I talked with the previous head coach one game. If they get bought into the current coach they have now at the high school, I think things will go great. Things never really materialize with those group of guys, and they're below 500. Now these, those guys gone and new guys in and stuff like that. You know, they bought in. They helping each other out the floor. They high fiving. Everybody's standing up, high fiving each other. The guy goes to the bench, stuff like that. Being real uplifting and stuff like that. Even before the game, everybody was huddling in one big huddle before the game. I didn't see that last year with that squad. So you got to have a culture. You got to be bought in. And the Nets are bought in right now to Coach Vaughn, and which I think they never really bought into Steve Nash. Going to the chat real quick before I get off. Arthur saying, hopefully they have BI back by Friday. Hey, it'd be great to have. Hopefully you get the injury. It's like with Brandon Ingram, it's just like the injuries come about the wrong time. Even with the Lakers, it's like, damn dog, you hurt the wrong times and stuff like that. And right now, trying to build that momentum and stuff like that with Zion and CJ and Herb, all them. It's like, damn dog, can one of y'all stay healthy all through so everything can gel? But hopefully we get to see BI hopefully back on Friday. Terry Rodriguez brought up Washington State, underrated right now. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for Washington State to get pub because they so tucked away up in that northwest area. But trying to pull up that record real quick before I get off the air. Yeah, they beat today. Actually, they beat USC today. A very good program. Da, 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 da. 6-9 right now for Washington State. They got Arizona State here on the 5th. Then Arizona, so you got the two Arizonas back to back in the next couple of days. If they can pull that off, and then you got Cal's 2-13, Stanford's 5-9, Utah, who's a top right now, 11-4. You can string a good few games right there. So, if Washington can beat those two Arizona schools and go on a little run right there, I think they can change things around. But it's Washington State, though. That's the thing. That's the thing about it is Washington State. It's just like one of the schools that's tough to win at, if we're being real. But this has been my show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, D-Lock will be back with me next week. He and his girl are out and about for celebrating her birthday around Atlanta. Hope they're having fun, being safe, all that good jazz. Do follow him on Twitter, Instagram at Black-813. That is Black-813. Do follow the show on Twitter at Fastbreak IESR. That's Fastbreak IESR. Also do follow the show. Follow iSportsRadio.com for all the latest show news and feeds. Lots of great content coming out. College football winding down, NFL's winding down, but please do still tune in to the network to get all you latest football news and feed and all that stuff. Our own Adam Karnak has posted an article on iSportsRadio.com talking about potential hot seats in the NFL sector. Very great read. We'll see what's going to happen come next week. Who's going to be let go, whatnot. A couple of guys haven't been let go. So we'll see what's going to happen come next week, who's going to be fired, whatnot. But he did a great article for us at iSportsRadio.com. I do want to shout that out. Also, I do have a Twitter at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Do follow me on Instagram because I do never show on the side called the Crooks Process. I'll post some content on there like short videos and stuff like that. Crooks Process, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. You'll see the CP logo at the profile image. Also do follow me on TikTok. I'm on there. That's Spawn4288 as well. My latest videos talk about the Titans and their continued winning streak, all that good stuff. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all next week in the world of basketball. LSU, Kentucky this week. The Brooklyn Nets can continue their winning streak. The Atlanta Hawks. A little bit of turmoil. Can they make things right, or they had to blow things up? Time will tell. We'll see. I'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.